Hello viewers, I'm Dr. Vijay Praveen. I'm a gynecologist at ARMC IVF Center. As you know, these are difficult times. COVID pandemic is going on. The general population itself is at risk, more so pregnant women. I would like to share with you all a few safety measures which will help you sail through this pandemic. We'll start by talking about the risk of transmission. All of you are worried about whether I would be infected more than the others just because I'm pregnant. No, that is not the case. The risk of transmission remains the same whether you are pregnant or you belong to the general population. And most of the pregnant women, say about 80 to 85%, get away with mild to moderate symptoms of mild fever, cough, just like a simple cough or cold that you get. And it subsides on its own without much treatment. All you need to do during this time is self-quarantine yourself for a minimum of 2 weeks to prevent transmission to others and for yourself also to remain safe. The other 15 to 20% who get severe infection may need specialized hospitalized care, and very few of them may land up in ICU for a ventilatory support. But trust me friends, these numbers are very few. So all you have to worry is about the mild to moderate infection that you might catch. So what can we do to avoid even these mild infections? There are a few general precautions that we need to follow. Like as you have been watching on television, reading in newspapers, I would just reiterate these general precautions for you all. It starts with avoiding going out as far as possible. So stay home, stay safe is the motto. Another point that you have to note is that you need to wash your hands nicely with soap and water for a minimum of 20 seconds for the virus to die. And then you use hand sanitizers. If at all there is no accessibility to soap and water, you may use hand sanitizers which contain a minimum of 70% alcohol. Most of the sanitizers that you get now have this content of alcohol. You rub the sanitizer onto your hands and let it dry completely rather than wiping away the wet sanitized hands. People who are more at risk of catching these infections are those with diabetes, those who are overweight and have other comorbidities, like those taking immunosuppressant drugs for some autoimmune diseases like SLE, rheumatoid diseases, etc. So if you do not fall into this category, you are something called low risk population who can just avoid this infection by carrying out these simple procedures. I have told you about hand washing and hand sanitizing. The second important step is using of masks. Triple layer mask is always nice to be used. It protects you better than the cloth masks. So try and get these masks, which are easily available now in the market. These are blue with white strings which hold on to your ears and keep the mask in place. So triple layer mask needs to be used properly while you are out and always on. Never take them down even when you have to talk or you have to say drink water or something. Take them out, keep them aside, have water and wear them again. Never keep them hanging below the chin, because this increases the contact between the mask surface and the neck, which increases your chance of virus exposure. Then we have certain social distancing norms which are to be followed. Now you know that COVID is not only spread by droplet infection, but it also remains airborne because of the micro droplets that are spread into the air. So a safe distance is something like 6 meters, which may not be very practical when you are outside. So the best thing is to avoid going out as much as possible. Now we'll speak about certain important measures that you have to take while you are pregnant and you have to visit hospital. Initially, you would visit your doctor every month. The doctor would check you up and give you another appointment, which was taken on a monthly basis. But now things have changed. ICMR has issued a certain guidelines about how we need to call the patients for checkups and which checkups are mandatory, which can be avoided. So I will just give you an outline of when all you are required to visit your doctor. The first point, when you turn out to be pregnant, that is when your urine pregnancy test turns out to be positive, you inform your obstetrician. Ask him or her about your next visit. She or he is most likely to schedule your visit at 6 weeks, which can be combined with the first pregnancy scan that you will undergo. That will determine the viability of the pregnancy in terms of heartbeat and location. That is an important scan. The next visit would be scheduled at around 12 weeks, which is combined with another hormone test which is done to know the chromosomal anomalies. So that again is an important period. The visit which you would have in between, that is a 16-week visit, can be easily avoided. It can be just done over the phone. Say you measure your BP at home with a digital sphygmomanometer, digital BP apparatus, and you can inform your doctor saying that this is my blood pressure right now, do I need to visit? So if there is anything alarming, your doctor will ask you to come over, or else he or she would give you a date for the anomaly scan, which is generally conducted between 18 and 22 weeks. During that time, we would combine some glucose test and some other routine investigations. So we schedule visits such that you come to the hospital as minimal as possible. After your 20-week scan, you need to come at about 30 to 32 weeks to know whether your baby is growing properly or not. After that, we need to plan your delivery. After that, maybe we would not have any more scans left. So your place of delivery, etc., needs to be discussed, which would be done at 30 to 32 weeks. While you are visiting your doctor, what are the precautions that you will take? Initially, you would go with all your family members. It was a nice trip at that time. You would go to the doctor, ask all your questions, and be back as a family. But now you need to go by yourself. Suppose you are accompanied by somebody, that person needs to wait downstairs and not go inside the clinic. You would be going inside the clinic by yourself, sanitizing your hands and following all the safety protocols that have been laid down by the clinic. It is for your own safety, for your co-patient's safety, as well as your health provider's safety. So you have to cooperate during these times. Do not raise objections in terms of wanting to be accompanied with your partner. See what is practical for you. In case you need help in terms of say visiting the washroom or anything of the sort, you are in your advanced pregnancy, you can take permission and carry somebody with you, but not otherwise. You should be wearing a mask, a triple layer mask, not the valved one, a triple layer mask. Sanitize your hands, wear gloves if possible, and once you are into the clinic, uh, practice social distancing. Okay, the chairs would be marked. There would be vacant chairs left in between, so occupy the space designated for you. Visit your doctor armed with a list of queries and all the doubts that have arisen you would like to discuss with your doctor. Your doctor would be better equipped to talk to you face to face and answer your queries rather than over the phone. But all other consultations with respect to medicines and everything else can be made over the phone. So do may avail yourself of teleconsult facilities, which are now offered by all clinics as guided by the government. So once your visits are over at 30 to 32 weeks, you would be planning your place of delivery. So your place of delivery is equipped to handle COVID as well as non-COVID cases, in the sense that COVID test is done for all women who are expected to deliver within the next 5 days. It is a government protocol now. All women, irrespective of whether they have symptoms or not, would be tested for COVID. These tests are carried out usually by nasal swab method. So once the test reports are available, if you turn out to be positive, you would be referred to a specialized COVID facility, which would take care of your delivery according to the protocols laid down. If not, your healthcare provider would follow the standard protocols that are in practice and have a delivery in place for you. Suppose you turn out to be COVID positive and you have delivered, your delivery would be a cesarean or a normal delivery depending on your obstetrician's examination and decision. Patients who are sick may have to undergo an emergency C-section to avoid respiratory distress and pushing them into ventilatory support. So that decision is entirely left to your doctor, which would be mostly a multidisciplinary team. If you undergo a normal vaginal delivery, the chance of you transmitting the infection to your baby is very rare. Studies conducted so far, with all the limited data that is available so far, tells us that the risk of transmission to the baby is very, very less and need not be worried about too much at this particular point of time. After delivery, your baby would be tested for symptoms, and whether or not to do the COVID test for the baby will depend on your pediatrician's assessment of the child. And at such times when the mother is COVID positive and the baby is under observation, all forms of precautions are taken, in the sense that mother would be handling the baby as less as possible, but breastfeeding is strongly advocated. You start breastfeeding within 1 hour of delivery, and breastfeeding norms are as for the general population. What is done is mother wears a mask, practices hand hygiene, and if possible, a curtain is placed between the mother and the child while she is feeding the baby, if it is practically possible. And the baby's care per se is handed over to a trusted relative or any other caregiver who is less than 60 years of age. Why less than 60? Because people who are more than 60 years of age again are more at risk of developing an infection. So this is the way things are handled out. And if the mother is very sick and cannot feed the child, breast milk is pumped out using a dedicated breast pump exclusive to that mother. The expressed breast milk is then fed to the child either by the caregiver or by the nursery assistants. And this breast milk can even be refrigerated for later use, as we do at all other times. The breast pump has to be cleaned very properly at places where all breast milk touches. It has to be cleaned properly, sanitized as per the norms that are prescribed by the manufacturer. Like some need sterilization by boiling, some need to be put in a microwave. So all measures are to be followed properly. Breastfeeding continues as usual till 1.5 to 2 years of age, with exclusive breastfeeding restricted to 6 months, after which normal top feeds are given as per pediatrician's advice. So breastfeeding is more or less same for COVID positive as well as COVID negative mothers, and the mother needs to follow all these social restriction measures till she has symptoms, in the sense that till she is afebrile for at least a period of 72 hours or 7 days from the onset of symptoms. This is the time that she follows all precautions, that she is likely to transmit the infection to her child. So all these precautions need to be carried out till this particular period of time. I repeat, till 7 days from the start of infection, or at least till 72 hours from afebrile state. Afebrile state, that is a state without fever. So these are the precautions we carry out during pregnancy and breastfeeding. So friends, to sum up, this COVID pandemic is really a very testing time for all of us, especially you who is pregnant at this particular time and needs specialized care. But just like I said, there are a few simple steps which can help us sail us through these tough times. Like tough people last, tough times don't. So let us just join hands together and overcome these tough times together. Thank you.